hello, I mean, I'm like, what man doesn't understand what I'm saying? And that's where we get into a bigger, broader subject about what pisses me off about how pathetic this industry can be at times. Don't act like you don't agree with me. Don't act like you don't see, meaning you don't see what I'm saying. Don't act like I'm out of left field as a man.
So I assume that Mayweather was in a similar spot because he made so much cash. And if you invested even in common stocks, you should do pretty well. But I mean, listen, Mayweather never flies commercial. He's only flying private.
And why are we attempting to tease Floyd? Is Floyd Mayweather? Yes, he's broke. Of course he's broke. He's a boxer. Did they say can't read? That's not to tease him. They say that he can't read. His best friend at the time said that he can't read, and he never denied.
Stephen A. Smith criticized Floyd Mayweather Jr. for his careless spending after reacting to a Business Insider report that highlighted Floyd's financial issues, saying that instead of burning through the huge money he earned, he should have managed it smartly by saving and making solid investments for long-term stability.
You develop your own lobbyist, right? And it's an abundance of y'all. And y'all have the capital to influence government. But you're not thinking like that because it involves real work and it involves a real conscientious thought. RC might have that, I might have that.
Stephen A. Smith also shared an old clip from when he visited Floyd Mayweather Jr. during his peak, where Floyd confidently showed off his wealth, including a collection of luxury cars, high-end watches, and other expensive items displayed throughout his lavish mansion.
It's a beautiful house, my man. How many square feet is this?
A little bit over 20,000 square feet, 3 or 4 levels.
Money Mayweather, seems appropriate that you would be living in Vegas.
My mentality is always about, working smarter, not harder.
I see that picture. Who is that?
And that's where it all started from.
That's you?
That's me. This picture is old school. I got the old school gloves on. And this is made of carpet, actually.
Yeah.
And I'm standing in a boxing ring in Grand Rapids, Michigan at Tawasi Boxing Club. That's where it all started from.
But you knew instantly you wanted to be a fighter.
That's all I knew. My whole life. That's all I do.
What's your definition of toy?
Well, private jet, Enzo.
Aries Spears called out reckless spending habits and pointed to Mike Tyson as an example, stressing how bad financial choices can impact even the most successful athletes.
The house I was hanging out at was one of like the OG jewelers. Like these are one of the jewelers that supplies like all the other jewelers, right? And he told me that Mayweather is broke.
I keep hearing this.
Yeah. I don't know if it's true.
I don't think
But he said that based on his spending and so forth, this is why these fights are happening now. That he needs to make some money back. That the spending has outpaced the money that, the money
he's been retired.
Right.
And he's still, flying to Monaco with a bad bitch buying up half the store.
Right. Always flying private.
Yeah.
Does he have his own plane?
Yeah, he does.
He does, right. So that's massively expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you own it, the upkeep is huge. Right. Plus all the properties, all the property tax. Yeah, I mean, if you're not properly invested, because there was he was saying that he bought this building in the Diamond District, but people are saying that's, the same jeweler said that's actually not true.
Right.
So there's been a lot of stuff like that. Listen, I hope not, man, but I remember I interviewed Tyson. He lost
Grant Cardone criticized Floyd Mayweather Jr., saying that weak investment decisions and careless spending held him back from building long-term financial stability and real growth.
Floyd Mayweather's got 22 million people following him. But is it any good? Like I don't know what it does with him. Like, does it do business with him? Does it transact with him? I know guys with big followings. But there's nothing happens as a result of the following.
So you on the is Floyd rich or is Floyd broke? Which side?
I don't know. I think Floyd ends up broke.
Ends up broke.
If he doesn't, it's not a Floyd thing. It's not a Floyd thing. It's an asset thing. If you don't end up in assets, you end up broke.
Yeah.
So because you can't keep fighting forever.
So if Floyd was watching right now, what would you say to him?
Floyd, you need to spend as much time working on your investments as you do in Neiman Marcus or the Gucci store, the Fendi store.
He could just invest with you, though, right?
He could invest to Cardone Capital. I would ensure that he's a billionaire.
Wow.
You cannot become a billionaire without it.
DJ Academics reacted to a Business Insider report claiming that Floyd Mayweather Jr. had unpaid Mercedes-Benz debts, along with several other financial obligations he allegedly did not settle.
I'm financially set. I want to let everybody know this. He said in 2021, every property I have is paid for. My jet, paid for. All my cars are paid for. I own $1 billion buildings. Everything is no longer paid for. They're exposing him if you don't know. Mayweather took out millions of dollars in mortgages on his homes last year. A Business Insider review shows he also faced a string of lawsuits and liens that say he owes money for a Mercedes Maybach G-Wagon. Wait, they make Maybach G-Wagons? What the jet fuel, which obviously is for his jet, and garbage collection at his Las Vegas mansion. So it looks like they've pulled all his debt. At the same time, he's trumpeted a major entry into the big league. Commercialized real estate. Starting in the fall of 2024, Mayweather talked about spending blitz on commercial property in New York through his newly formed real estate.
Wade Plemons said that Floyd Mayweather Jr. made huge money throughout his career, but with better use of his earnings and smarter financial choices, he could have ensured long-term financial security.
He owed so much money to them and had apparently not much of it in liquidity, not much that he could actually spend, or at least that's what his representatives said. His representatives wrote back to the IRS, it's a true story, you guys can look it up, that he could not make the payment. He couldn't do it. He didn't have $22 million liquid in cash. For a guy that had made, up until that point, let's just say $900 million, because he made $300 million fighting Conor, he didn't have $22 million sitting around in a bank for all that cash he's flexing, for all those cars, for all the places. And again, I'm not saying that multi-millionaires and billionaires have $1 billion liquid, but you couldn't have found 22 mil. So his representative said, wait, we're going to have this fight, and then he'll pay you after the fight.
Floyd Mayweather Jr. often presents himself as the ultimate figure in boxing, claiming no fighter matches his skills or achievements, and while confidence is important in the sport, his constant self-praise tends to frustrate fans, analysts, and fellow fighters, as it can come across as arrogance rather than motivation, with critics saying his non-stop boasting sometimes takes attention away from his real accomplishments and makes it seem like he cares more about his image than his legacy, even. Though his record of wins and championships clearly proves his greatness in the ring, but his public image, built around showing off wealth and superiority, keeps people divided, with many respecting his success while others remain doubtful and critical.
Right now, I don't think there's no boxer in history that has accomplished what I've accomplished. Not bragging or boasting, just speaking the truth. I take my hat off to a lot of legendary champions, that paved the way for me to be where I'm at in the sport of boxing. But that was their era, and this is my era. I had a tremendous career. And we got young fighters that's on the rise, that's under our banner. The ultimate goal is to find the next Floyd Mayweather that can break my records.
So is Gervonta Davis that good?
Chael Sonnen explains that Floyd Mayweather Jr., like many top fighters, faces the tough reality of managing wealth after retirement, pointing out that while a career in boxing brings fame and huge earnings, the spotlight fades over time and an athlete's prime years don't last forever, leaving many who focused only on the sport unprepared for life outside the ring, and without smart planning, solid investments, or other income paths. Even the most successful fighters can struggle financially once their careers slow down, highlighting that boxing may pay big at its peak but offers little long-term security if money isn't handled wisely, and Mayweather's situation reflects this common issue, showing that talent and fame alone aren't enough to secure lasting wealth without discipline, planning, and smart decision-making.
Sir, do you know that isn't broke? What a ridiculous question. But it's the fact that they're attempting to tease him. I mean, first off, they're asking the question. Look, I've told you until I'm blue in the face. The numbers that you hear in boxing simply aren't true. Floyd made $1 billion. No, he didn't. Floyd and Conor made $500 million. No, they didn't. Of course they didn't. Nobody's ever confirmed that. Literally nobody. It's the same thing with boxing pay-per-view. Whatever boxing pay-per-view is the biggest boxing pay-per-view of all time, is just whoever put out the press release and lied more than the person before them. These have never been confirmed by leadership of a publicly traded company. who is the one that supplies the pay-per-view. It is illegal for them to lie. You have never heard Time Warner. You have never heard Cox. You never heard DirecTV. You have never heard...
Dan Le Batard discusses the ongoing financial issues surrounding Floyd Mayweather Jr., noting that as of February 2026, Mayweather has filed a $340 million lawsuit against Showtime Networks and former executive Steven Espinoza in an effort to recover money and regain financial stability. And while Mayweather reportedly earned over $1.2 billion from his fights alone, the point raised is that his spending was just as massive as his income, putting his financial situation under serious scrutiny.
Mayweather has initiated a massive $340 million lawsuit against Showtime Networks and former executive Steven Espinoza. So he's trying to get some bread right now.
The estimate is that he made over $1.2 billion over the course of his career in just earnings from fights.
Yeah. I think a question, though, that you should also ask, outside of like how much has he made, is how much has he spent? You know? Because I would say he's fully capable of spending close to $1 billion in the last 25 years.
You say that, but I not to turn into the movie Brewster's Millions from the 1980s. It's hard to spend that money. It really is hard to spend that much money and end up in a situation where you have to fight at 49 because you're so used to a lifestyle that brings in giant amounts of money that the only way for you to make a giant amount of money is to do what he's presently.
He is believed to have spent nearly $1 billion over 25 years on a lavish lifestyle, including luxury cars, jewelry, designer clothes, and exclusive experiences, showing how even huge earnings can't guarantee lasting wealth. And Dan Le Batard compares this to the movie Brewster's Millions, illustrating how overspending can push someone like Floyd Mayweather Jr. to return to the ring at 49 just to make money, while much of his fortune was fueled by public attention, with fans eager to watch and see if he could be beaten, highlighting the role of celebrity and spectacle in boxing.
Is something that somehow will make money because people will still want to watch if Floyd Mayweather can lose, because that's where he made his $1.2 billion. He made it in us watching to see if he'd lose.
I don't even think, like, it's just celebrity boxing is so popular because we are obsessed with celebrity culture, and this is the rare reality show in which we can see people fight, you know? Like, oh, wouldn't it be all...
DJ Academics reports that Floyd Mayweather Jr. claimed to own a $42 million portfolio of rent-regulated Manhattan buildings, but property records show no clear ownership, and over the past 18 months 2 of his commercial properties were foreclosed while he risked losing his Las Vegas business, the Girl Collection, over $52,000 in back taxes. He has also faced lawsuits for unpaid luxury items like watches and high-end jewelry, with creditors pursuing his Gulfstream jet, Air Mayweather, which he sold in December along with Beverly Hills mansions, and experts warn that without professional financial guidance, even Mayweather's fortune is vulnerable.
Real estate conference with a session titled Real Estate Knockout, the Floyd Mayweather Strategy. Give me 1 second. The Floyd Mayweather Strategy. The big talk doesn't always end in big deals, though. Business Insider found. Chat, they're exposing them. Mayweather's social media last year promoted an article that he reported that he made $100 million in his portfolio of a Manhattan luxury high-rise apartment towers owned by Go Partners. People with knowledge of this investment said Mayweather put a nominal sum late last year and did not invest further, and his initial equity in the deal was later absorbed by the Go Partners, leaving him with no stake. The portfolio of the buildings was eventually spun off into a publicly traded entity. In February, Mayweather also said he bought a portfolio in a rent-regulated apartment buildings in Upper Manhattan for $402 million, declaring that all the buildings belong to me. I don't got no partners. Business Insider previously reported that there were no property records showing an outright or...
DJ Vlad shares a revealing look at Floyd Mayweather Jr.'s financial habits, noting that a top jeweler suggested Mayweather might be struggling after years of extravagant spending, and while he famously flaunted luxury cars, high-end watches, and other lavish items during his prime, DJ Vlad points out reports of unpaid debts to jewelers and other vendors, indicating that not all of Mayweather's flashy displays were fully supported by actual cash.
You would think that your investments would continue to grow,
right?
As long as you keep your spending under wraps. Like right now, like I could retire right now. This could be my last interview ever,
right?
And with my investments, you know, I invested into a lot of great companies like Google and Amazon and Tesla over the years, and those companies have all grown and continue to grow, right? And I could actually borrow money against my stock portfolio without even selling.
This gap between perception and reality highlights an important lesson in money management. Appearances can be misleading, even for someone seen as boxing's wealthiest, and DJ Vlad stresses that Mayweather's situation serves as a warning for athletes and celebrities who chase luxury and status instead of smart financial planning, showing that even massive earnings can be wasted. And by looking at his extravagant lifestyle alongside reported debts, it becomes clear how elite athletes can struggle to maintain long-term wealth when flashy spending takes priority over sustainable money strategies.
Told me that Mayweather is in financial problems.
See, here's the part about actually losing your money when you're on that level and you're, kind of like flossing, showing off. Nobody gives a shit. Like there are people actually praying for you to be broke. And then when you do go broke, that's what people are going to say. Yeah. Oh, well, you should have invested better. Nobody's going to care. Nobody's going to give him any loans. So now, we might see Mayweather doing.
People will give him some loans.
Maybe.
Listen, he's cozying up to Israel. That's
but
not
the
an
thing
accident.
about it is, he had Mayweather Promotions.
Yeah.
And he was hosting a big, he had Javante Davis under his cards. And so that's a like
yeah, but
De La
look what
Hoya
happened
does.
to Javante.
Right. So if you can
yeah.
sustain that, you don't ever have to box again. But now has to take fights because, when you floss like Mayweather, you can't go down.
Yeah.
You got to stay right there because people are going to peep any kind of chinks in your armor if you're not wearing 3 or 4 big $1 million diamond chains.
Among Floyd Mayweather's many legal issues, one surprising case involved unpaid bills for luxury jewelry, with a Miami jeweler claiming he accepted expensive pieces without paying, revealing a side of Mayweather that contrasts with his image of immense wealth and extravagance. And while fans and media focus on his flashy cars, designer watches, and lavish lifestyle, this dispute highlights potential problems with financial management and accountability, showing that even someone with enormous earnings can struggle to maintain discipline. And the case, centered on high-end jewelry, raised broader questions about long-term planning and the risks of prioritizing image over smart financial decisions.
A Miami jeweler that goes by the name of Leonard Suleymanov is like, give me my money. Give me my money. So he is hitting Floyd Mayweather with a huge lawsuit. Y'all, we're talking about a cool $4 million for some luxurious watches and diamonds that Floyd supposedly forgot to pay for. Y'all know he forget to cash checks. So maybe, you know what I'm saying? He might have forgot to pay for it for real. So even, y'all tell me if I'm...
Early in his career, Floyd Mayweather changed his nickname from Pretty Boy Floyd to Floyd Money Mayweather, signaling his confidence and belief that he was destined to become a billionaire, and he fully embraced this persona by displaying wealth through luxury cars, designer clothes, and lavish possessions, making him widely seen as the embodiment of opulence in sports, with his extravagance shaping his public image and drawing both admiration and criticism.
This is Money Mayweather, not Pretty Boy Floyd. You see, in boxing, usually people have like an alter ego, the character they play. He had to change his character from Pretty Boy Floyd to Money because Pretty Boy Floyd had a problem. You need to listen. Now, the problem was he was tiny, but more than that, his hands were tiny. Now, I don't know much about JB, but I know he ain't big. And them boy got the same frame. That's twinning him. Now, let me be more specific. It wasn't his hands so much that were tiny. It's that they were brittle. It's believed to be genetic because his dad broke his hand and his uncle broke his hand. Yeah, they were all boxers and them boys could throw hands. But that does not mean he had it easy. You see, his dad sold a bunch of stuff and his mom did a bunch of stuff. So to escape his traumatic childhood, all he would do is train day in and day out. He said, I had to take care of my mom. But he trained so much because it's all he knew.
Recent reports of Floyd Mayweather's financial struggles have changed how the public sees him, with some feeling a sense of satisfaction as a once untouchable figure now faces challenges. And while his past displays of wealth sparked envy and resentment, the contrast between his former and current circumstances highlights the complexities of fame, fortune, and perception, showing that even the richest athletes can be vulnerable.
He breaks his hand. It turns out that both of his hands were severely injured. They told him, Floyd, you not boxing anymore. He said, nah, I'm finna box. They said, no, you're not hearing me. The problem is you already beat everybody your size. Listen, Floyd had a bigger issue. He needed to start boxing people that were way bigger than him because everybody his size couldn't hang with him. So if his hands were breaking against smaller guys, against bigger guys, he better have no arms. So Mayweather's team said we need to switch things up. This dude, Mayweather His promoter said, switch things. What now? Everything's saying the same, stupid. He said, unless y'all got $750K, the exit your contract is done. Mayweather said, here. He said, what? I don't pay you that much. Mayweather said, I've been saving up for this day. He said, oh, okay, big dog, you got it. So they devised a plan. Go from Pretty Boy to Money. See, Pretty Boy loved to throw hands, but Money was a defensive specialist. In fact, he's easily considered as the greatest defensive boxer of all time. But that wasn't the only reason he changed.
That's a wrap for today's video. Stay tuned for more, and we'll see you next time.